Hello, if you found this, you're probably pissed off at Vestis/Aramark, their customer service complaints, and you want to know what the heck you can do to fix this. Well, you've come to the right place. I'm covering Vestis and Aramark/Aramark customer service complaint situation and what you can do to protect you and your company. This includes proven strategies and tips on how to get your problems fixed, addressed, and if not, to start the process on how to quit the service. So let's carry on. First off, here's the outline of what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Vestis situation overview, where we're at today. We're going to then go into taking control and what you can do to take back your ownership of this program to get it to where you want it to be. Step 1 is going to be the immediate action items. Step 2, we're going to create an accountability system. And step 3, we're going to go into messaging. So we're building an entire system on how to build a system to take care and get your program fixed or get you out of it, what we're going to do with that, and then how you're going to implement it. So from soup to nuts, we're starting there and we're going to help you fix this. By the way, I'm Curtis and I'm with Save On Services, and this is what we do. We help educate and inform people and teach them how to fix their programs. And then we lend a helping hand if you want some help as well. We've got services where we audit and negotiate. But let's get into this and help you get this program fixed and understand. So first off, the situation overview. I don't want to belabor this point too much, but I want to show you where Vestis is at today, how they kind of got there, and then most importantly, how you can get out of it and what you need to do. So first off, in September of 2023, Aramark spun off Vestis into their own uniform and workplace supply business with their entire purpose on placing an emphasis on making a positive difference in the lives of customers and teammates. That is marketing fluff. That is Wall Street fluff. That's to make everybody feel better. But like I said, if you're here, you're mad, you're frustrated, and that core objective doesn't seem to be working. It's just a marketing tool. So let's get into where Vestis customer service is based on what the internet says, what they've gathered, and how they show everything. One, they spun it off in 2023. They aren't accredited at all by the Better Business Bureau. In fact, they have a D-, as you can see down here on the bottom, a D- for failing to answer 32 different complaints. And those are just the ones that got registered. We know there's far, far more many than that. As far as the issues, and I don't want to throw any salt in the wound, but you're well aware of these. It's their service and product quality issues, their missed deliveries, their poor quality, all the billing and contract issues that they have, from unexpected price increases, charges for undelivered services. You unfortunately probably feel this pain. The contracts that you can't get out of, the buyout fees that are high. And then of course now we've got massive amounts of communication issues. Unreachable reps, high turnover, no accountability. It goes into a black hole and it goes into the void and you can't get it fixed. So I'm going to show you how to address some of these situations. As far as the employee and the financial troubles that they had, a ton of high turnover. Vestis also recently laid off hundreds of salespeople. So all of this is because of where they're at on a financial basis. And here's how that affects. You can see there's class action lawsuits being filed against Vestis because they felt they were misled over their profit and where they're going. So yes, Vestis is in trouble and they're scrambling. And what happens with this scrambling effect is that they go to the customers to try to make this happen. They're getting rid of salespeople, so they're not bringing any new business or new revenue, so they got to go to the well with their customers. So that means a lot of times, yes, they are going to try to raise your prices. Yes, they're going to try to find revenue in alternative ways, which means sell you stuff or claim higher, raise your prices on loss, damage, and the like. So beware, because they're looking at you for the way to make a cash cow. So let's talk about immediate action steps. Take control, and this is where we're at. We got our situation overview. Now we're getting into our take control part, where we have 3 key steps that we're talking about today, as well as some next steps after that. But number 1, take control. Step 1, immediate action items. So I'm starting you out with action. We got to get stuff done to move this along. That's the only way to fix your situation, is by taking steps and taking action. So number 1, we're going to start the process to improve or cancel your service. And the best way to do that is you have to document your problems and service deficiencies. This is very similar to firing an employee. We are going to put your company, Aramark or Vestis in this situation, on a PIP, on a performance improvement plan, and we're going to show all the different tools and resources that you need to do this, to get yourself, to get everything improved, or, ultimately fire your company. And so that's what we're going to do. So first thing, document everything. If it is not written, it didn't happen. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. So these conversations that you have, phone calls, emails, customer service interactions, etc. You name it, you want to document it. I'm going to actually show you some of Aramark's own tools where you can document stuff through them as well, because you do not want that to get hidden or lost. And so the organized person will win this battle. So first up, I Googled Vestis Customer Service to show you a couple things that they recommend on their stuff as far as online support requests and that sort of stuff. And I've made it easy to show you the online portal, this is what the customer portal. This is a great tool. A lot of times customers haven't been introduced to it or have not used it, but it's simple to sign up for, and I highly, highly recommend it. It has 24/7 account access. You can pay your bills on there. Most importantly, you can look at your invoices. With the advent of the handheld computer, it's made it easier for companies to slip through price increases and changes, because they have you just autograph on the handheld, but you don't get to see it. You don't get to touch the paper. The paper used to almost be like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that you could look at. Now you just sign your name, pencil whip, and it sends you an email. It's very, very easy for stuff to kind of disappear on you and blend in. And that's by design, like a lot of these things. Support request submission. This is where you can submit questions, report. They have to deal with it in 24 hours. It goes into their customer service matrix, and they're supposed to deal with it right away. So that, once again, that's another great way and part of the system that we recommend that you get going. And you can view all your account information. So the next question, if you're not on there, real quick, here's how you get into the customer portal login setup. So you can always Google Aramark Vestis customer portal or customer login. I do have up here in the upper right corner, I do have the login address. And you're going to go here, and if you have not gone first, you're going to click on this create account down here in the bottom. So you're going to create the account and set that bad boy up. So when you do create the account, there's two key informations. You're going to fill out all the login information, but one, you need your billing address, or primarily your billing zip code, because it's going to clock into your billing zip code, and you also need to get your account number. Your account number is off your statement, and you can see I've got it highlighted on this sample up here for Acme Auto Body, where they have a 02115 as their zip. So you fill that in with the rest of your name and information, and then your account number is your account ID. So that's the big key. Account number is your account ID. Once you do that, you'll get an email and you get logged in, and you'll have access to all that information that I just described. Okay, so let's take a look here on the next steps on what you're going to do. And that is step one, we're going to have you pull your service agreement. First, we got to do some research on where you stand currently. So one, you're going to check your agreement end date, and we'll get into that because we're going to go specifically in all three of these things. I'm going to show you some samples and some details of past Aramark and Vestis agreements, so you can know what to look for, and because you need to know where you stand as you start to go through this process. So number one, check your agreement end date. We're going to review for automatic renewal clauses. We're going to do the service guarantee, which is what shows you what they're guaranteeing on how you can quit. Those are very standard. I haven't seen those change hardly at all. And whenever they do change, it makes it even worse against you. And then the cancellation clauses. What does their cancellation clause specifically say? That's not good. These agreements are all written by their corporate attorneys for them. Typically, you sign their boilerplate agreements, so they are very one-sided agreements, but I'll at least educate you on that so you can understand what you're up against. So first off, getting your service agreement, you're probably going to go look for your service agreement, and you're not going to be able to find it. And you might get frustrated, wonder what happened, wonder where you would have filed it. Thought you probably would have filed it right there in that uniform folder, and it's going to baffle you. All I can tell you is that is not uncommon. Usually about 75% of the time, customers or businesses do not have their service agreement. And that is because that's by design. Your friendly uniform service person had you sign it, take it back for their general manager to sign it. They signed it there and they put it in their files and their folders, and they never gave you a copy. And that is because this is by design. It's not by accident. It also isn't accessible on their online customer portal. They could make it accessible, but they've chosen not to. And that is because this is an early warning system for them. If you don't know contractually how long you're locked in for, what your terms are or anything, it makes you harder to negotiate. And so if you do want to quit or are interested in that, you have to contact them first. So once you contact them, then now their spidey sense is up and they know that they need to talk to you and what they're dealing with. So just know you probably don't have it, but you need to get that ASAP. So how do you get that agreement ASAP? Here's an email sample. You can obviously make phone calls. You can document this. But these are part of your documentations that you want to start to document right away on your customer service issues or your performance improvement plan to speak. And that is, you're going to send them, pretty simple, here, dear Joe, if you have the service manager's name or something like that, but you want to do more in all these communications than just go through your route driver, because the route driver doesn't usually forward that information on. You don't have a record of it, so you want this to start getting a record. So if this needs to go, either through the customer portal, which will send up a red flag right away, or through a service manager or somebody that you've talked above your route guy. But this is, dear recipient name, we're currently reviewing our vendor's records and have been unable to locate a service agreement with your company. Could you please confirm whether a current agreement is in place? And if so, forward a copy to my attention at your earliest convenience. If an agreement does not exist and includes an automatic renewal clause, please consider this formal letter of our decision not to automatically renew this contract. So very simple, straight and to the point, but this is the tactic. You want to get that service agreement ASAP. Start taking records of how long it takes you to get the service agreement, because that means they're negotiating in bad faith, and you're going to want to add this to some of your systems down the road. All right, so here's a sample of when you do get the service agreement. This is usually like the second paragraph or so in on the Aramark or Vestis agreements. And you'll see it's going to talk, I've highlighted this where it has the number of months that your agreement's for, unless they got modified. Typically it's 60. The renewals, typically, boilerplate is always automatic, and it's always automatic for the like term. So if you miss it, and in this case, within the before 60 days, your 5-year deal turns into a 10-year deal. So that's what you're going to be looking at. As far as the service guarantee, this is one of the most ambiguous, frustrating service guarantees in the business, because it all deals with, you have to notify us, give us 30 days, and then we get 30 days to correct, and then you have to tell us again what we did within 30 days. And they just keep playing this kind of who's on first 30-day cycle with you, like, we have to correct or begin to correct, and as you begin to correct, it gets vague. So this is where it creates challenge and ambiguity in trying to quit and what they say they need to do to make you happy or meet the letter of their contracts. Okay, and then the last part is a cancellation clause. The cancellation clauses, typically show, most cancellation clauses in the industry are 50% of the remaining balance of this. They're always exorbitant. There's just no winning. Aramark's changed some stuff, and Vestis changed stuff to where it's 25% of the last 3 months for the rest of the term. But they also have this current replacement charge for all merchandise, which is, they can inflate the price and try to bill you for everything. But of course you won't own it or get it back. That's just, it's not penalty, just some liquidated damages. So just know that the amount is going to be so high that it's going to be a challenge for you to want to quit. So at the end of the day, these 3 clauses have some challenges that work against you in a pretty strong manner. All right, so let's do this. In step 2, we're going to now go on to creating your system. We talked about what you're up against. Now we're going to get into the system that is going to help you not only in the short term have a much, much better program, but in the long term give you the leverage and the power to either cancel or renegotiate your agreement to a much better situation. So one, I'm going to go through some service logs that I've created over the years and customers have used successfully. These are that you can modify, and they're very simple. The majority of them are all on Google Sheets or Excel files, and you can add to them and just make them to, once again, where you're trying to document everything. And then we're going to get into what discrepancy files and how you do that, and then some audit templates. They include some scorecards and different things that you can do for the service as well. So let's get into it. As far as accountability system, here's some samples. One of them is an invoice tracker, and this is a very simple, as you can tell, five column item. You can have more columns depending on if you're a linen or uniform company and what charges you want to track. But as you can see, this is just, it's very simple with the date, the total invoice, and you want to see if that thing's fluctuating, wildly. And then if it is fluctuating, why is it fluctuating? And that's where you get into is it fluctuating because of loss and damage? Did they jack in some service fees, fuel charge, miscellaneous? If you're a restaurant and you're in linen, hopefully or if you've had big banquets, there's a reason for those things. But this is just going to give you a very basic, quick way to spot and see if things are going up and why they went up, and you can dive into them a little deeper. So that's one example, and an invoice tracker. As far as the uniform service log, if you have uniforms and you're having problems, this is going to go either on a three-ring binder on a clipboard, and this is when, if you're trying to add employees, you can have this on there, and that's going to be the next one, the uniform change. If this uniform service, if you're having problems with repairs, if you're having problems getting people added on, if you're having problems with shortages, there's a whole bunch of different things. But what you're going to do is you're going to make the driver, over here on the far right, the uniform rep signature, you're going to have the driver sign this every week. So you're having them sign and commit to the shortages and the challenges that you are doing and that they're doing to you every week. And so that's going to allow you, once again, to have all the documentations for any battles that occur down the road. All right, how about this one? Linen inventory sheet. So we're going to pivot. Let's say you're a restaurant, a hotel, or somebody like that. You have the same type of thing you want to see, and where your linens are more variable than just, say, uniforms that are, should be, delivering whatever was turned in last week. But linens, as we know, go up and down based on how many covers you have for the night, or if you have any big banquets or any big conventions or anything like that. But this is a sheet to show you how you can keep track of your linen inventory, so you can keep control on your inventory, because your PARs will determine your pricing and your overall total cost. And so you want to have that in the earmarked at the right level. So this can show you how much you have in your PAR, what's on the shelf, how many's delivered, and then if you need to adjust your PARs, of course, planning for whatever seasonality you have. All right, how about uniform change orders? I kind of mentioned this earlier. This is good for adding new employees, size changes, repairs, any of this sort of stuff where all of a sudden your employees are short uniforms or need uniforms and you don't feel like you're getting the turns. I mean, most companies love to sell the idea that they can get a new employee in uniform in 1 week. So as soon as you give it this, they should get it. This will help you track if it's taking 2, 3, or 4 weeks. Because whenever employees are out of uniform, that's hurting your brand, it's hurting the employee morale, and that's not the reason you pay for this system. You want this to work. And the same thing with repairs or size changes. If the repairs are not getting done in a timely manner and they're out of uniform, you're still paying for them. So that's not right. And you want to keep track of all this to help hold them accountable. That's what this whole system is. It's an accountability system. All right, so now we're going to go into discrepancy files. So you've got the logs. Now you want to have other stuff, especially in this day and age, with pictures and any correspondence or anything like that. So if you have any screenshots, pictures, or anything, put those in a file. A lot of times these are now going to more like a digital file than even a hanging folder or a manila folder or something like it in the old days when I used to do everything. But a digital folder to hold everything. So once again, when you have meetings, you can pull up this as reference and to document and to show timelines and to show stuff that you've shared with all layers of management to try to get this fixed. So past that, the last one, a couple different audit templates. And these are both service scorecards, vendor scorecards, so for quality, and also, some of the vendor metrics that you expect from them. So the top one is a service scorecard where you're managing the quality of the management, just week over week, where you're recapping every delivery. And this is the kind of information that you're going to get to share with your vendor. This isn't meant to be kept secret and just bombard them. It's to let them know that at the end of the day, just like the vendor scorecard below where it says monthly or quarterly, the reason you're doing this monthly or quarterly or having quarterly reviews is to make sure you're on the same page with your vendor. And in this case, you're going to share this information. And the reason you're going to share it is the next step, which is you're going to signal your tracking as soon as you're doing all of this stuff. You want them to know that you run a tight ship. Back to the employee example, they need to know they're on a performance improvement plan. They need to know that you're not happy, but they need to know that you are tracking everything. So number one, you see this. You show that you're organized. You are not winging it. You are documenting everything, and you're holding them accountable. And so they need to either shape up or ship out. They need to step up, and they know that they need to know that. Number two, you're going to see that you'll catch the problem. So they just can't try to slip stuff by you. Issues will be documented, and you're paying for a service, and you expect that service to be delivered. This is not just a freebie. And then number three, you're going to escalate. Non-responses have consequences, and they just can't ignore you and things will go away. Nope, they need to fix it. And when they get to know that you run a tight ship and a great operator and you're all buttoned down, they will respect that, and you'll get that service. So up here at the top is one of the things on an email that you can send to one of the managers, and even share this with your drivers that, hey, we've started tracking delivery and billing performance internally so we can align with vendors better moving forward. And, that is a very simple line that they understand that it's like, there's a new sheriff in town and we're managing this, we're tracking it, and we need you to step up and do your share. So that is the gist of what you need to do to fix where you're at or begin to take the next steps. So then, after you've done all this, you're going to gather all this information. There's going to come into a couple different situations on what you want to do to move forward. And those are for other videos that we have as well, and other tools to help you. But number one, we have contract and invoice audits, which is its own series to be able to watch, where I'll take you in even further detail on how those contract stuff that I showed you and invoice audits and how those tie in. And once you have access to your portal and you have your contract, it's going to be much simpler to be able to, that's the first step in that series, to try to get that, because you dive deep into overcharges, credits due, and then determining, whether you can negotiate that and get some money back, or if you want to renegotiate and change your situation. And then from there, that's where negotiations come into that. After you do the audits, then you need to take negotiations, and that there's 5 key actions that you can take when you're stuck in a bad rental contract, or actions that you can take in any rental contract. And so I go through those in other series to help you deep dive into what you can do to put yourself in a better position. But number one, like we said, create this accountability. Do your first things first by getting your rental agreements. Set up your accountability system on what works for you. These tools and resources are set up at my website. You can go to the tools and resource sections and pull those PDFs down, and you can customize them and set them up for what situation works for you. Would we appreciate you to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. We'd love to help you out, and that's what Save On Services is here for, is to help elevate you and fix your program. And we've got lots of tools and resources for that, and you can even set an appointment if you want me to if you feel trapped and would like me to take a look at it. I do that as well. So once again, Curtis Kimball with Save On Services. Thanks for your time today.